Hey there everyone! Welcome back to another exciting video for the Shibarium community and its partners. I'm Seasoned Shib, and my mission is to spread knowledge and positivity within the Shibarium ecosystem. This video is the 32nd of all X-Space Weekly DAO Update series. This X-Space was held August 29th, 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another K9 Finance Weekly DAO Update Spaces, episode 32. According to the title this week, 32 weeks. Been here 7 days a week apart, 32 times, 32 hours we've met for K9 Finance Weekly DAO Update Spaces. And what's that mean for you? If you've been here, you know. If you're new here, you don't. Let's assume you're new here. Hi. K9 Finance is an Ethereum token. We're on the Ethereum blockchain, recently migrated to Shibarium, and we're getting ready to provide liquid staking for bone and bone holders for Shibarium and beyond. It's nice to meet you. I'm the K9 Finance account. I'm actually one of the DAO members. My name is Pulse Digital, and I get to drive this thing into the spaces every week and help represent other community members who are going to request their speaker spots throughout the show. And they're going to come up and tell us what they've been working on throughout the week. That's how we do our weekly DAO update spaces. That's because that's what a DAO is. It means decentralized autonomous organization. That means there's a group of people here that are all individually skilled at certain things, and we all operate certain parts of this, and we all get together to reach a common goal. So welcome to the show. How does this work for you? What does that mean? You can request a speaker spot, which is a really cool thing to do. We have limited spots. You can come up and hang out with us and talk about the project and ask your questions. But like I said, limited spots. If you can't speak, if you're somewhere where you're tied up, the microphone wouldn't be appropriate. The comment section in the bottom right is the best place to be. I need that number to go up anyway, so you can start off by going down there and writing something down there. Write a love letter to your wife, for all I care. As long as I get more analytics down there, it's good for all of us. The emoji button still works as far as I know. It helps us know that you're listening and that you're enjoying the show. And then last, please share the spaces either to your timeline or through a DM to somebody who should be here or somebody you know would want to listen to some of the updates today. We're going to talk about things like hackathon updates. We're going to talk about Shibarium's birthday. We're going to talk about the LTD launch. We're going to talk about some things that happened with WEEX, StockTwits. I've got a list of things. But before we get into any of that, as we always do, I've done most of my talking up front. That's my job as the host. I hand it off from here on, and I always start with Buzz because Buzz is always the one that gets the mic the first of the week. So Buzz, what's up, man? How have you been?
Hey, Shane, I've been good. Thanks for the great intro. Definitely excited for today's spaces because we're going to have something a little bit different where we have, I actually do see them in the audience. It's Strain Geek, who is one of the Hackathon winners from ETH Toronto, is going to be able to chat with us about his build. So I think that's very exciting. I see Sizen up here as well. Get to celebrate the great streams that he's been doing, getting people to learn how to use the K9 Testnet product. And it's really going to be an update in many different facets, but I think we'll also have a visit from our partner project, LTD, which will be great. Just congratulations to their community on a great launch, and just excited with all that tax revenue coming in from the launch of what can happen with their staking, where you're going to be able to stake their token to earn K9 and get us exposure to what I think is about is it 800 holders or something in that regard right now. So congratulations, LTD team. So we got a long list, Shane. Sorry to be going on here again. I'll pass to the next.
Man. Hey, I keep notes. That's what I do. I want to go right to Season and the streaming because I feel like it's really, really worth highlighting, because after watching the live stream last week myself, I tuned in, I left comments, I tried to support, and I want to encourage more people to do that. Let's talk right up front about what that streaming meant to you, Buzz, to individually, to see someone putting in that kind of work, just sitting there online and running through those demos, because you know in theory that's what your testers are doing. But what was it like for you to see that for real?
Well, I actually admittedly was not able to tune into the entire stream. I mean, Sizen's done this twice now, and he streams for 12 hours every Saturday, which I think is incredible, testing every facet of the project, the product rather. But more importantly, the chat becomes buzzing. It's so many DAO members coming in and testing it for the first time, and getting them to set up their testnet wallets, teaching them how to use different aspects of the product. And it's exciting to see people come up with strategies on how exactly they're going to use K9 and benefit themselves. But I think Shima actually said it best last week. It's if you've never tried a testnet before, getting set up on Sepolia, getting set up on PuppyNet is a really good reminder of the steps that newcomers need to take in order to get involved in crypto. And I thought he said that beautifully last week. And it's just such a great reminder to all of us when we're getting a friend into Web3, just the steps that they need to go through and educating us all as to how to better onboard people to our industry.
Didn't you guys encounter some problems this week with Testnet, or some difficulties, I should say, maybe not problems, but related to maybe bone faucets and stuff? Can you speak on some of that for our listeners?
Yeah, Shima may have more insights there, because he's frankly been a lot deeper into that than I have. But I think the Shib team probably caught on to the amount of bone that the K9 testnet users were taken from the testnet faucet, and we're like, oh crap, we probably need to gate this a little bit. And I think that PuppyNet has certainly gotten its fair share of stress testing from the amount of testing that great community members have been doing there. So there's been some slowdowns in terms of the RPCs for testnet. I know there were some issues there. Shima can probably talk towards what he's done to resolve that, and another perk that he's built for some of our whales. But stress testing for a blockchain is always good, and this testing is incredible because it just gets us to a point where on September 18th we're in a spot where we're going to be able to launch this very, very smoothly. And one of the most important DAO votes will actually be coming up in the next round of voting as well, because we're starting to do some very advanced modeling in terms of the fee structure and split structure in terms of where the bone is going to be going to in this system. And just working through that, Shima, myself, Turtle, and some others looking over that, looking into other protocols like GMX, which is a very popular perpetuals DEX, where they kind of coined this idea of escrow tokens being rewarded to incentivize farming and locking. So looking at a lot of industry best practices, dissolving data, going to be putting together a forum proposal for the community to become educated about what facets of the K9 product are going to generate yield for which areas, and come up with a comprehensive proposal there for a vote.
You're tearing off on so many different directions. You're leaving me in the dust here. There's 3 different things I'm writing down. Shima, you've been working on things for the RPC, and that was something you teased last week, and Buzz was saying you could explain in more detail. What were some of the hangups that happened on testnet, and what did you do to fix that?
Yeah, Buzz actually covered sort of two big hangups there. So the Shib team has a bone faucet where you can get bone on the Sepolia testnet, which is sort of your equivalent to the bone that was originally born on Ethereum. And you know, when you're delegating to Shibarium validators, you do that on the Ethereum side. And so they already had a rate limiter on the Sepolia, and you could only claim once every 24 hours, but they had no limits on the Shibarium side. So I might be a little responsible because I wrote a little script to basically just collect as much testnet bone as I possibly could on Sepolia. I mean, it was big necessity for us doing all of our thorough testing, but it was actually Turtle noticed, I think 2 days ago, and sent me a screenshot because I had shared my script with him. And it turns out they put on a rate limiter, and you're only allowed to claim 5 times a day now. So you can still go and get 50 free testnet bone on Shibarium or PuppyNet, and you can go get 10 free testnet bone on Sepolia, but you can't get the tens of thousands of bone I was collecting before that. But you know, that makes sense. They need to make sure that they have enough bone for all the future testnet users that we're going to help bring into the ecosystem. So I think that's a good thing. So that was one of the things. And then the other one is, it just seems like we've had a lot of great users. The testnet seems to be picking up, lots more contracts getting deployed, and lots of users using our new testnet app now that it's open to the public. So the public Shibarium RPC for PuppyNet, you know, it's their testnet. They don't dedicate the highest compute resources and stuff. You know, it's really expensive to run stuff in the cloud, so I don't really blame them. They didn't foresee the influx of users that we were bringing to them. But their RPC server was returning the the 429 error. If you've ever seen 429 as a pop-up in any of the dApps you're using, that means the RPC is rate limiting you just because too many users are using a public RPC. So what I did, since we're running a Sentry node on the testnet that has the full blockchain, we set up a custom RPC server on there for PuppyNet, and we've connected the dApp so that everything in the dApp is loading through the data pulled from our validator node, or the Sentry node that sits in front of that validator node. So now the testnet app is working nice and snappy, and as a whale perk, since we have our own private RPC servers now, we're going to be giving the whales access first to the PuppyNet RPC, and then soon to their own private Shibarium RPC. So we'll give them an API key. It's basically like if you signed up for a paid account with Infura to get an RPC server, so you had nice snappy performance. We'll be giving that to our whales as a little perk so they can have the best experience on Shibarium.
What does it look like when you say you'll be giving them an API key? Because I'm picturing physically giving someone a key because I have a very smooth brain. What does it actually mean? How do you give someone an API key?
So it's going to be a long string of random characters, and you basically are going to go to puppynet-rpc.k9finance.com or puppynet or shibarium-rpc.k9finance.com, and you add that into your MetaMask. So normally when you'd go, I think the URLs is like shibrpc.io or something like that is the public one, but if you use ours with the, you just tack on that string of characters that we'll be sharing with the whale chat onto the end, and it'll allow you access so that you don't have to use that public RPC endpoint anymore, and be sharing all that traffic with other users. And whenever there is, heavy load, be getting rate limiting and having your transactions failing. So we'll be basically giving you a way to directly send your transactions. Actually, I guess I should sort of explain. A lot of people might not really know what an RPC server is.
Well, let me take a shot, Shima. I'll save you some time and save them some technical. Can I sum it up for you like this?
Yeah, definitely.
Shibarium FastPass.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The blockchain, it doesn't operate on the normal internet. It's kind of its own little network. So you need a way to actually communicate with it. So the RPC is how you tell one of the nodes in the network that you want a transaction submitted, or you want to read some data, and then you send it your transaction, and it gossips it around to all the other nodes in the network for you. So this will be the fastest way to submit your transactions, so you'll have the best experience on Shibarium.
So that means on busy days or on launches, you'd have the priority pass in terms of being at the front of the line, only competing with people who had the K9 Well, Shibarium, limited FastPass trademark branded to go with it.
That's exactly it. So it's reserved.
Wow.
There's one that's reserved specifically, so it'll only take requests from our website, and then there'll be the special whale one, so you can use it everywhere on Shibarium.
What an incredible thing for Shima to have developed for the holders of the whale chat privilege. I hope everybody that's listening is now fumbling to figure out how they can get in touch with Turtle to be a part of the whale chat, because it's full of fun perks like that, and also fun chat that you guys don't get to see in the normal chat. I'm not saying that in order to tease you. I'm just letting you know it's a little more unhinged in there. It's a fun place. But Shima doing stuff like this, what's funny is it was never even asked for. These are the things that he said, hey, this is a problem. And it's going to be a problem, and he fixed it. So Shima, I appreciate you. We all appreciate you working on something like this, and I look forward to seeing it actually deployed and watching everybody try it out. Very, very cool. And for anybody that is up here or wants to raise a hand, if you guys have any questions for Shima about that, or Turtle, if you want to touch on it a little bit technically, maybe. Nobody wants to chime in. I'm not going to take it personally. Shima, this is super cool. When can you expect to have this ready to go? Like, when are you going to hand it out and stuff?
So we sent the PuppyNet one to a few of our biggest testnet users to get their feedback, and we also want to see what kind of load it adds to our nodes, but that's been super minimal, so we should be distributing the PuppyNet one very shortly, and you'll definitely have the Shibarium RPC before mainnet launch.
This is awesome. And I assume, and then this is just me being me and having that cynicism, that this will be trusted to the whales in the sense that they will not then leave and spread this around, because it would only increase the load on the private nodes that have been designated for the whales to use. Is that fair to say, Shima, that there's a degree of trust going into this?
Exactly. We might rotate the API key every once in a while, just, in case it has leaked. Just kind of reset it so only the whales are using it. But I don't think the whales are going to want to share it, because this is one of those perks that really helps them have a better experience. So it gives them that little edge. Any of those token launch snipers or anyone who wants to just be having, the fastest, snappy experience and not waiting for all the data to load in their dApps, this is really going to help you with that.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. I think we summed it up pretty well. So everybody stay tuned. If you're in the whale chat, that sounds like it's going to be coming pretty soon. Be a privilege trusted to you and also given to you as being part of the K9 Finance whale chat. Contact Turtle for more information on that. We appreciate that. Buzz brought up a lot of things, by the way, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Buzz, but you were on such a tear, and I've got this list, and I got to make sure that I get through everybody on this. So I'm going to circle back to Buzz, but I want to go to Funk. You guys noticed I bumped Funk up to a co-host. Almost said it wrong there. And got him up here today to hang out with us. Funk, we didn't get to talk last week because it was crazy busy. How have you been, man?
Hey, I've been pretty solid. I've been really over caffeinated this week, to be honest with you. I just bought a 12 pack of Coca-Cola, and I've just been drinking them on top of coffee. And so I'm pretty overly caffeinated. And also forgetting to eat because of so much caffeine. But other than that, everything's going really well on the business side of things and K9 and everything like that. So I've got some updates there.
Sure. Well, I'm more than happy to roll into it. We got plenty of time.
Absolutely, man. So first and foremost, raids have been going really, really well. Our community has been extremely active, doing all the tasks, and the orchestration of that has been really, really good. A big shout out to Frank for helping, help with the little elements there, coordinating, making sure that people are getting paid out and things like that. It just takes a little bit of work off my plate, and I really appreciate Frank for helping see that through to the end. And then, the organizational structure is great. We've been hitting TikTok. We started hitting Telegram. That's a little trickier one to conduct raids on. We have X raids. We have Facebook raids. And we started getting more StockTwits. Sunday, we were trending #1 again on StockTwits. So this seems to be a week over week thing that we're able to do on weekends, where it's like the prime time to get on there. And I really think that we saw some volume from that, because that particular day, Sunday, I saw a little bit of price bump. I saw a lot of new transactions come in. And so I'm going to attribute that to StockTwits. At least it's not always 100% sure where people are coming from, but that's been really exciting on that end. Other than that, kind of just been, let me go to my.
Well, you talked about StockTwits being something to focus on the weekends previously. Do you remember going over the idea behind that being that weekends was the best time? Can you elaborate on that? How's that been going?
Yeah, so like I said, weekends are the best time to get StockTwits trending. And last Sunday, like I said, we got it. And the week before that, it was Saturday. This week, I'm going to shoot for Saturday again. So we'll try to get StockTwits trending on Saturday and just kind of alternate Saturdays and Sundays to potentially get new hold. Last night, we did a trivia. That went really well as well. Had about 20 plus participants. So every Wednesday, we're going to be doing these week over week from here on out. So if you're interested in learning more about K9 and really, this is also very helpful for people who already are educated, because maybe there's things that you didn't know. For some reason, I thought that Gnosis and Safe Wallet were two different entities, but I learned that last night. So we obviously use Gnosis for our multi-sig. I've used Gnosis for every company I've ever been with. So, but you learn little intricacies that maybe you didn't know, and that makes you more armed as a community member, as a member of the K9 DAO, to go inform other people and sound educated and be able to really bring people into the DAO and the ecosystem. So trivia nights are every Wednesday. In addition to that, I've been kind of doing a little bit of promotion for K9 across a variety of different X spaces. We had them in the CoinMerge meme culture showcase on Monday, which was huge. There was like 300 or 400 people, and Buzz did a fantastic job presenting on that. So we kind of set that up. Tonight, we're going to be on Kid and Walt Show. I'm going to be going to represent K9 there over at Kid and Walt Show. Tomorrow is Adam's show. And maybe we can segue over to him in just after this, and he can just talk about K9 being on his show tomorrow. So overall, just trying to increase the presence of K9 across. Another thing coming up is we've been hinting at it, but there's been a secret thing that we've been working on, and it's in conjunction with CoinMerge Technologies, and we're going to be doing a logo reveal for that definitely next week with the progress things are going. So you're going to see a new logo. That's the only hint that I'll give you today. Hopefully Buzz isn't too with me revealing.
Well, speaking of CoinMerge, I actually want to point out, Funk, this is pretty cool. According to my desktop calendar, can you hear me, Funk?
Yep.
You know, right now we're dual simulcasting the CoinMerge K9 Finance price tracker as well as the spaces, which is something we talked about, is that we have the ability to take the advantage of having both of these things broadcasting. So those of you that are in the space right now, don't know if you know this, but there's also a video broadcast running from the K9 Finance account that features CoinMerge Technologies price tracker and is following Shib live during the day, and Turtle curates the soundtrack. It's a really neat little thing that they've got put together, and Funk worked really hard to help Turtle get that put together. And I do still want to make sure that people are watching that. So shout out for having that up simultaneously with the spaces today.
Yeah, absolutely, man. One of the benefits, obviously, to me working for CoinMerge as well as K9 is like, unlike other partnerships that CoinMerge has, I'm like pretty motivated to push K9 in every single way that we can. So an example of that is we started these new I'm getting some feedback here. So we started these new Telegram video reviews, and we're going to be getting K9 on that all the time. It's attached to our buy bot. So Adam's going to be working on that as well. So we can segue over to him after that. But yeah, basically just lots of new audiences. We're always working to trend K9 through CoinMerge Technologies and also reach new audiences, right? A lot of what's also been hinted at is, maybe there's a world where K9 figures out how to onboard people from new chains onto Shibarium. We can't live in a little Shibarium bubble, Shiba Inu only people. There's other blockchains out there. There's Solana, there's Tron, there's Base. There's so many people out there that could be onboarded into our ecosystem. So figuring out how to build our ecosystem and build a funnel to get more people into K9, to get more people into Shibarium, to get more people into, LTD, into our partner tokens as well. So just really building the ecosystem. And I think CoinMerge with our AMAs is a really good funnel for that. And I'll be working really, really closely with Buzz, and Adam and Turtle and all that to continue to build K9's influence outside of just the Shiba Inu sphere.
I know everybody appreciates you putting in the work to do that stuff. And a lot of it, again, just like some of what Turtle and Buzz does, doesn't always get seen. But I do appreciate that on behalf of everybody that gets to reap the benefits of the hard work that you're doing. And you mentioned Adam's going to have you on the show coming up in a short amount of time. Adam, who's going to be on the show? When's the show? How do we see the show?
Yeah, it's going to be tomorrow. Appreciate the shout too. It's called the Based AMA Space. It's a newer collaboration that I'm doing with a good friend of mine who actually got a chance to meet a lot of the K9 whales when he was in Toronto there. So that was really fun. His name's Moon Daddy. But we're going to be having that tomorrow. That's going to be later on in the day there. So maybe we can get it retweeted or such. But I'll drop a comment as well after I'm done here. But we're going to have a dedicated space there. And then also just touching on what Funk was saying, I love the connection that CoinMerge has to K9 because it really is going to reach a lot of new people. We had a test stream today, simulcasted, similar to what's being done here, which is so cool, except on the TG side and also interlinking X. And it is a kind of like a project review format. Been doing that really the last few months, kind of perfected it, and now we're going to take it onto a much bigger stage with CoinMerge. And why that matters for K9 and K9 holders is we're about to get in front of a lot of new people, and these are also going to be folks from different chains as we get them added as well on the CoinMerge side, such as massive Solana projects, Base Chain, Ethereum, of course, holders, and so on. So there's going to be a lot of extra visibility for K9 persistent on each stream with the overlay that we're using. So a lot of cool things being cooked up. Can't thank you guys enough. And special shout out to Funk for, organizing a lot of that to make it happen.
I appreciate you taking the time to put it together. Remember, guys, if you're not following Adam, you should be, because he's going to be doing these spaces, and you guys can tune in just like you do here and help share them and comment and stuff like that. So I appreciate you guys doing that. Funk, what else have you got going on? I don't want to switch off of this. If you still had anything else going on, if anything still, what would you have everybody doing between now and next time? Because we always get up here every 7 days. What would your marching orders be to the soldiers on X between now and then? How can they help you out the most?
Well, obviously, we're looking forward to the 18th launch there. So building up some energy around that. If you know other bone holders, and our other K9 holders that are out there and maybe tuned out, potentially reaching out to them and saying like, hey, what are you doing with your bone? Did you hear about this liquid staking derivative opportunity that's coming out the 18th with K9, or for K9 holders, get ready to stake your K9. If, of course, obviously, only if they're interested and not financial advice on all of that, but the usual disclaimers. But there's the raids every single day, guys. We're trying to grow the socials. So the community is absolutely doing fantastic on that. What I would say is that if some of the methodology that we're using isn't bearing fruit, it's 0% on the community, because they're doing the tasks, they're doing the raids. So it's just about figuring out more effective ways to utilize that community efforts to build those socials. But we are seeing really good results on X. We're seeing some good results everywhere. I'm interested to see if some of the TikTok work that we did Tuesday bears fruit, and StockTwits, of course, has been really successful. So rating, sharing the information about the 18th. I know Shima's going to have something to say about that as well. And basically just spreading the good word of K9 every single day. And who knows, put a forum proposal together, right, guys? Like, you can come up with ideas. Maybe you have imaginations. How could you help K9, and how could it be mutually beneficial? So go to the forum and think of new ways to help K9 as well. What would you like to see K9 do?
Awesome. I appreciate that. You guys, remember, if you're trying to help in the raids, whatever platform you're on, Matt is on Facebook. You've got Frank helping out on X. You've got literally on TikTok. You've got people working on every platform. So you have no excuse. If there's one platform that you can help on, find the platform. Help Funk push the message. Thank you, Funk. Shima had a hand up. I have a feeling it's related to what you were talking about. Shima, go ahead.
Yeah, I just thought it was a great thing to mention. Go remind people who hold K9, but also who hold bone, to come and put that bone to use. So currently there's only about 9.9% of the total supply of bone is actually being delegated to all of the validators in the ecosystem. And we have about 10% of that share, so that's awesome. I see the Telegram bot notifications I have on our validator coming in constantly with new people adding bone. But less than 10% of all bone is delegated to validators. So, there's people out there with big bags of bone, and we want to encourage them to come put it in Bone Crusher and put that to good use.
That's such a fun idea. It almost markets itself, a bone hunt. Where is all the bone gone? I feel like I'll work on that in my own mind, but that's something to think about for all you. How we're going to go dig up all this bone that we don't know where it's at. Fun stuff. That'll be fun for everybody to dig into. Make a switch to another subject, because we were talking about all this marketing stuff, but LTD came up here as a speaker, and I don't want to ignore them anymore, because I know he's making the rounds today. They've had a very busy day today. They had their launch on public trading today. Things went live. It's tracking on DEX tools. So they're here to take a victory lap. They're not going to take up a whole bunch of our time and try and shill us on the token. They're just here to party, man. They're 2 champagnes deep, and they've got their sunglasses on indoors, but they're having a good time. LTD, what's up, man? How are you?
It sounds like Toronto all over again.
Exactly. Happy Monday.
Sunglasses on. It's a party today. Everything went very smooth with launch. I did find out, at launch time, we had a pre-launch VC, and I started talking, and I talked for about 15 minutes straight and kept asking for people to talk, and found out that I was in the VC. It looked fine, but I was just talking to myself, and everybody else was having a party without me. But the launch went great. SourceHat helped us with our launch. And in fact, we ended up launching about 30 seconds early, which that kind of never happens. We are looking at about...
They all say that. They all say that, bro. It's classic.
It never happens. I swear.
Yeah. Every girl in here is laughing in their DMs right now.
I was totally not going there, but thank you for that.
It's my job to do.
So I mean, really, for K9 and speaking benefits for K9, we are very excited to partner with K9. We did launch our staking platform. Is going to have cross-chain staking to K9 on Shibarium, and 10% of our total taxes is going to go into our staking pools. And we're looking at about 1.8 million volume right now, with a 7% buy, 10% sell tax that's going to drop starting tomorrow and drop over time. But there should be some significant staking rewards coming in, and hopefully some great buy pressure for K9. As an avid supporter for K9, what you guys are doing and what you guys are bringing to the ecosystem, I love it, and I'm just happy to be a part of now multiple projects that support what you guys are doing, what you guys are building, and to be a part of this community.
I'd like to give Buzz an opportunity because Buzz mentioned some of the benefit for the K9 community in the launch spaces. Buzz, do you want to circle back on some of the LTD taxes and what's got you excited about that?
Yeah, of course. So I want to say that they've probably collected over $150,000 worth of taxes right now. And a generous portion of that is going to be diverted to buying K9. So I think you'll probably see some big buys coming from the LTD tax wallet in the near future. So they're going to be purchasing that K9, putting it into their staking contract. And I was actually just on their DEX tools. They have now approaching 850 holders, where hopefully a good chunk of them are staking their LTD on Ethereum to earn K9 on Shibarium. And for every person who holds LTD and stakes it, that's a new holder in our community. So it's a really great way for us to grow our holder base. And then, of course, that's that volume and those taxes being translated to actually purchasing the token. So I've seen people in the community concerned that perhaps we were adding additional supply to the market, which is not true at all. This is a very genuine partnership where the tokens are being purchased. You're going to see these purchases on chain from the LTD tax wallet, and you're going to see the LTD stakers getting their K9 on the Shibarium network. So it's buy pressure on one hand, but then on the other, it's growing our DAO size and our holder size. So very, very excited about this, and just congratulations to LTD.
Lots of hard work on both sides coming together today to get it all done. I don't want to keep you here too long, LTD. Like I said, I know you've got other stuff going on. There's one more place that I know people can find you tonight. Where's your next event tonight? I believe you have something coming up with an exchange, right?
Hey, we do. And thank you for the lead in. We are launching on Gate in just under 7 hours now. So our first exchange will be Gate.io. Amazing to work with, great exchange. And we actually have a space with them tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Sorry, I had to do my math. It's at 11 p.m. Eastern time. We have a space with Gate. We have our launch at 10 p.m. Eastern, and very exciting. A lot of exchanges in the talks, in the works, and the work is really just getting started. The ad platform's coming, and excited to really share with this community. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, man. Have a good day. Appreciate everybody over at LTD, and hopefully you guys can catch a little bit of rest between all the crazy stuff. And we'll check in with you 7 days from now and see what you guys are up to cooking again. You're invited back, obviously. We'll hang out. I also want to talk about, since we're talking about partnerships, I'll put Buzz in the spotlight again. Another partnership was announced since the last time we talked. There was a partnership with Shib and the Shib Recap. You've set something up there. Can you elaborate on what that is for everybody?
Yeah, so the Shib Recap is a Spaces, for those who don't know, that happens every single Sunday night. I believe it's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. every single Sunday. And what I love about the crew there, it's Shib, Crypto Queen, and I'm probably forgetting some people, but they've done, I believe it's 120 straight weeks of this spaces, and which is just incredible consistency. And they go for a long time. They go for several hours, and they have a very long agenda with like every single piece of news that's happening, not only within Shib, but also within Shibarium as well. And they get a lot of projects up there to talk about what they're working on. And we've been light in terms of our representation there as K9 on Sunday nights. We try to take as much of a break as we can on the weekends, but know that crypto is 24/7. And part of this partnership is just them. They've already been sharing a lot of the K9 news, but just inviting us to come as often as we want. We're going to try to do it bi-weekly, to be going to those spaces and just speak on behalf of the K9 community and all of the news that's coming out there. So knowing that it is a Sunday night and it's often relatively difficult for different family and personal obligations on weekends, if any K9 community members would like to go there and talk about K9, you're more than welcome. They're a very welcoming community with the Shib Recap there, and just happy to announce that they're going to be formalizing that with allowing us to come on any of their spaces to talk about our announcements.
It's a great spaces. If you guys haven't been there before, it is a seriously full event, full of news. Like Buzz said, he's not kidding. It is a recap. It's not just some yapping and stuff like that. So pull up, check it out. Shout out to Shib. Shib was working very, very hard on the LTD Launch spaces as well. So he's having himself a day. But we'll get him in here. Maybe next week we can get him in and he can kind of talk about the spaces. We'll cross the spaces, which some would tell you is controversial, but I believe it's okay to cross spaces. One other thing I wanted to mention, this is off the timeline I noticed this week, and I just want to highlight, Frank was in an interview with WEEX, and this was posted from WEEX onto their X account and shared across ours as a repost. And I just thought this was super cool because I'm very long on Frank in terms of investment potential. I think Frank is growing. It's all green candles in my opinion. So I saw this and I loved it. So what did you think, Buzz? And I'll ask everybody else to hands up if you loved this as much as I did, and emojis. I see everybody emojis for this. This was super cool, and I know he's not here, unfortunately, and I see him down on the listeners, and he might even have it like turned down. I know he's at work today, but this was super cool to see this video. Buzz, how did you feel when you saw that?
Oh gosh, I loved it, and Frank, just seeing how Frank has become so ingrained in the community makes me especially happy. I believe Frank came in very early after our launch, and he was initially a buyer, and he had just reached out to some of the mods and was like, hey, can I get a mod tag in here? Like, I just want to hype up the community. And that's translated from that to him taking over our weekly Monday and Friday VCs in our Telegram chat, which he's been killing it at. The amount of people going to those and listening, and just wanting to hear from Frank has been growing week over week. And then he was able to come to Toronto at ETH Toronto and represent K9 there. And he's just elevated himself to be one of the best members of the community. Such a friendly face, so kind and caring. And to see him get that exposure and an exchange wanting to interview Frank is just so exciting. And I think he's the perfect person. One point of feedback that I got from people about Frank that were at the conference, which is just made me so happy to have great people in our community, was that they weren't talking about how great and passionate he was about pitching K9, which we all know he is. He's always talking about K9, but in the people that did meet him, I was so pleasantly surprised where one of the first things to come out of the mouth of actually 3 different people was that he's such a humble Southern man, and he was actually opening the door for every single person that he was around at the conference. And I just felt that to be such a very unique compliment toward Frank, where they weren't talking about his passion about K9 or his knowledge about K9. It was just the intangibles of how great of a person he is. And to say that somebody holds the door for other people is just made me very happy to have such great representatives of K9.
It's the little things, though. I mean, character quality is often shown in the smallest of moments, right? It's not in the throes of battle that a hero is often defined, other platitudes and stuff. I'll spare you, but stuff like that. And I got the same sense when I met him. That's why I wanted you guys, if you haven't yet, please scroll on the K9 timeline and find the video. And I know we're in a Spaces right now, so you might not be able to play it with audio, but go check it out because you get a chance to see what I'm talking about. Frank was a genuinely real dude, and I think it's cool when you think about what you might expect to run into at a crypto conference. I think what Buzz is saying, that this was a nice older Southern gentleman, it just was it goes against what I think a lot of people are expecting to run into a-holes like me with that mask on, and not guys like Frank. Like I fit the bill more, I think, than he did in that instance. So there's a mix. But shout out to WEEX for being a real one and doing all the media that they did while they were there. They went out of their way to walk around with that camera, and they got great stuff from everybody. And seeing them take the time to post up that interview with Frank is top shelf. So they're always welcome to come back too. We've had great conversations with them. So shout out to WEEX, WEEX, WEEX Exchange. Very friendly to Shibarium projects. Crossing that off my list, I don't want to let you go before I get into the quote. What I wrote down was the most important vote of K9's history. And I say that with inflection because I was told in a chat before this started that there's going to be something hitting the forums very soon that could be one of the most decisive moments in all of K9 history. I feel very Hollywood about it. There should be movie posters. Buzz, can you give me any more information than just the idea that a forum post is coming soon? You've got to give me more to go with than that.
Oh yeah, of course. I'll give the high level preface, and then either Turtle or Shima, who have been more in the weeds on the actual implementation of that, can probably hit home with more of the finer details. But we've gotten so many questions in regards to, hey, what's the yield rate going to be for staking K9 within the product? And it's important to recognize that the yield rate for this when you stake or lock K9 is what's called the real yield. It's where revenue is coming from our validator system and being distributed amongst that yield pool. So this is not inflation. This is not, hey, let's print more tokens and come up with this fake yield rate where that's probably going to disappear in a certain amount of time or plummet a token. This is an economic model that is being built. And how the system works is that our validator earns bone for being a validator. And then we as a DAO decide where that bone needs to go. So there's kind of three different stakeholders within the K9 product or bone crusher system. And it's important to have a delicate balance between where that bone is diverted so that we have the right economic incentives to get people to do not only what's in their best interest to earn, but what's in the best interest of the DAO and the product to make it work in a circular fashion. So those stakeholders are people who are delegating bone to the validator, so they receive KN bone in return, and that's their number one perk. You get your KN bone and you get that liquid representation, but also a percentage of the earnings from the validator can be diverted to them. They can have another incentive to be doing that other than just the great incentive of receiving that liquid staking token. The second is the farmers, so people who own bone and K9 token and K9 bone and K9 bone and want to farm that pair, which should be priced at the same price. There's very little risk of impermanent loss there, but people want a reason to park it. So there's rewards that can be diverted there. And there's also the stakeholders of who are just staking K9. You only own K9. The only thing that you're interested in is staking and locking K9. And of course, as a DAO and as a community, everyone's always interested in like, how do we lock up supply? So right now in the modeling that we've been doing is diverting a significant portion of those bone rewards to go towards that pool there. But we're probably about we're really in the nitty gritty of the modeling right now to try to figure out what a suggestion would be from us. But this is going to be the most important vote for the community to recognize, okay, there's an incentive system here. And of course, everyone wants all the rewards to go to them. But how do we create this circular ecosystem where we know the more bone on our validator means more bone that's going to go to people who are staking K9? How do we get that sort of recipe correct so that And there's still a great incentive for people to delegate Bone to the validator, but also an incentive for people to lock their K9 over time. So this is it's an important vote. It's the one where I think we're going to talk about a lot. Should be in the forum by end of day tomorrow, if not Saturday, for people to digest. And I think that will be a hot topic in the VCs next week, a hot topic in our spaces next week, once people can read it, digest it, talk about it with one another. But I'll kind of hand it over to Shima, who can maybe talk about more of the nuances there and some of the things that he's been looking at.
Awesome, thanks, Buzz. Yeah, I think I'm going blind from staring at Excel for the past 48 hours and really finally getting this financial model. It's been sort of on the back burner for months. It's kind of deadline time, so we have to get this done so we can do the proper planning. And it's really a throwback to the business school days of, it's like building a cash flow analysis, but with a few more moving parts than your typical cash flow analysis. But it's really important for us to see, we don't want to be distributing too much escrow K9, but we want to have good rewards. So it's a fine balancing act. So I'm really excited to hear from the community, because I know lots of you are, like me, avid DeFi users and have experience with protocols that have worked and protocols that haven't. So it would be really great when the forum discussion is going on, actually provide, some comparables and some reference protocols and say why you like what they're doing. And I'm excited to see the discussion that comes up here. But yeah, like Buzz said, we're trying to balance it, and it's a trope that's a little overdone in crypto, but I think it really accurately describes it. But building our economic flywheel, and the core comes down to the fact that this is a real yield protocol. We're not giving out some made up token. K9 has value because it earns the rewards that we're getting from our validator. It's not like you're just farming to earn K9 that has no value. That K9, you go and stake it and you earn those real yield rewards. And just to tease into the future, the validator isn't the only source. Everything the DAO does, all of our initiatives, everything gets fueled back into this real yield protocol. So you'll be earning more and more as we grow and we launch more products. But yeah, we're really trying to figure out some of the key things is what kind of multiplier do you get for locking? We want our loyal users to be earning the most bone. So if you're locking your K9, you can get, we're looking at maybe a 5 to 10% or 5 to 10x if you lock for a full year, as much as you would earn from just staking your K9. So, you lose access to the liquidity and the ability to sell your K9 for a year, but you're going to be earning so much more bone than if you just staked it. And these are also the things that there's been a lot of discussions in the whale chat. What's the best strategy for how you can earn the most? People getting excited about what they're going to be doing. And setting toggles like how long is the vesting period going to be? So, GMX is a huge inspiration of mine. I really love what XDev did there. I think he's one of my inspirations in crypto, not just from sort of innovating on the escrow model, but just being an incredible developer who's really loves giving back to his community. So that's kind of how I like to sort of model my view. I really want everyone to succeed and everyone to do well here. So we're really trying to plan this so that it's not, a quick rocket ship up and crash down. We want a nice sustainable protocol because what we're here is to, support the Shibarium ecosystem. Like running a validator, that is about helping decentralize the network, helping, promote true decentralization is the real crypto ethos. So we want to get as much bone into our validator and eventually be in our version 2, we're going to be letting other people run validators and operating in the system. So we have to split, rewards with the validator operator for the cost of running that. I mean, right now that's the DAO. So we have those rewards, or we're proposing that those rewards be 0, and we're kind of eating that cost for the community. And then directing more rewards to the real yield system. Let me just look at my spreadsheet here. There's so many other things. figuring out, how much escrow K9 is going to be released for anyone participating in the farm, figuring out what percentage of rewards go to growing the backing value of K9 Bone. So if you've used the Testnet app, you'll see the conversion rate for K9 Bone to Bone isn't a 1-to-1. So slowly over time, just by holding K9 Bone, similar to if you have, WST ETH or Frax ETH, the value of the underlying ETH that you're holding is going to grow as the validator earns, but we're also directing some of those rewards to the real yield staking. So there's a lot of different pieces here. It's really hard to describe in words, but Turtle made a beautiful diagram for us. So I think that'll help everyone with the forum proposal to see how things are being spread out and split up. And I think the big thing is that I'm just really excited to see the discussion that comes out of it, because we've done our work. We're all long-term DeFi users and have a lot of experience in seeing what has worked and what hasn't. But I just love feedback, so I'm excited to hear what other people have to say and recommendations and how we can tweak this before we get the final numbers for the DAO vote.
I'm so excited to have you pull up on Spaces because you drop so much on people that I have people telling me in the chat that they're excited for the transcript because they just are not going to be able to get it. I appreciate it so much, dude, and your passion is so obvious when you get into these subjects. I think that's what's really cool about it, is that when you do show up, you show up so big, and I appreciate that from you. And what you guys have been working on and stuff, not just the RPC stuff and the whale perks, but all of the numerical stuff. We haven't even had time, and we won't have time today, but we'll have to catch up again and get an update on all of the treasury numbers and how those are all doing too over there. And so stuff like that, the initiatives that you've taken, man, to take on some of these numbers. I know people, I've mentioned this before, there are a lot of people that are benefiting from you doing a lot of number crunching, and we all appreciate that, Shima. A lot of people in the main chat right now are saying, hey, I can't tag him. He's not in here. So they're saying nice things about you. Mostly nice things. I'll say mostly nice things about you. So we appreciate you, man. Yeah, man. We got enough time before we go. Xanders, I saw you pulled up, man. Thank you for coming up. How are you?
Hello, hey, what's up, Shane? What's up, K9 family? I also glad to be here.
I appreciate you pulling up and hanging out. We got a couple of minutes left in the Spaces. You just announced the other day, I don't know if this is even public yet, but you're getting ready to go to Barcelona. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. I am going to Barcelona event in November to represent Shibarium. Yeah.
You're doing I am glad to in Barcelona for Shib, right?
Yeah, I am glad to represent and talk about K9 also. So this is amazing. I want this.
What we're going to do, we'll get more information about what's going on in Barcelona. So Xanders is going to be traveling and representing Shib and some Shibarium ecosystem projects like Bad Idea and K9 that are partnerships with them. So if you guys already know about what's going on in Barcelona, you think this is cool. If you didn't, this is really cool news because representation at these conferences and then what we've just had at ETH Toronto, this is going on in Spain. This is an opportunity for exposure in Europe. So Xanders, I appreciate you. And I look forward to seeing all the pictures and stuff, man. I hope you get a chance to really document, because I know you were very upset that you didn't get to come to Toronto, and now I get to watch you go to Barcelona, so I hope you rub it in my face.
Yeah, that's right. I want to talk in this event. Sorry.
Do it. I'm excited for you, man. Thank you for coming by today.
Thanks to you.
Buzz, we got enough time for a little bit of corner. What's been on your mind since we got together last week? There's so much. What's funny is last week we got together. This is how fast crypto is. And we kind of talked about whether or not Justin's son and everything that was going on with what he was doing would matter. And I don't think it matters 7 days later. Like it's totally off the radar. So where are you at today with Buzz's Corner?
Oh, that's so funny you mentioned that. But before I dive into the Justin Sun stuff, I also just pinned up a message here just to give some more support to Frank. So he does run these VCs every Monday and Friday. I believe it's 9 p.m. Eastern. And tomorrow, the VC in the K9 Telegram group is going to be featuring LTD. And I know 2 people are going to be able to win $50 in LTD, but from what I've heard, it'll also be, if you are a K9 whale, I think you're going to be able to get to win up to $500. in LTD as an additional perk to the K9 whales there. So just shout out to Frank who's put that together. But it's so funny that you bring that up, Shane. Like I know that I listened into the Justin Sun and Mario spaces on, I believe it was Monday night. Seems like forever ago, but I think for a lot of people we were anticipating like, the meme coin hype. Is it going to actually happen long term on Tron? And I think we've got our answer. I think that it's kind of had its time in the sun, so to speak, just in sun, and people aren't really talking about that in the industry anymore. So I think that speaks a lot towards sustainable growth. I think Justin did a very good job of manufacturing some hype there, but it speaks towards community building and building real useful products when you get people over to your community, and that's what makes me excited for K9 too, is that we're all here because we believe that Shibarium has so many great builders and is a chain that could blow up in the future, and to be here at the ground floor is with a product that's going to be very, very key for DeFi in general on Shibarium. We're all poised very well when and if the Shibarium ecosystem does blow up. K9's going to be right there, and if you're a K9 whale, you're going to have the Disney FastPass, so to speak, like Shane said, with that custom RPC to make sure that you're the fastest and on the network and skipping all the lines.
It's funny to me to think about Solana having been out for a couple of years before Pump.Fun showed up. And I'm not saying that it put Solana on the map or anything like that, but I'm saying it really accelerated some of the adoption for Solana and brought the hype. And then Tron having been out for as long as it had, and then he just suddenly comes up with his platform, the Sun Pump platform, and just copies what they were doing. And it's barely a splash, barely a ripple in his network. It didn't create any kind of effect like it did nearly in Solana. So it's two things for me. I've always thought Solana has more public retail facing appeal. For some reason, I can't put my finger on it, but people have said in some spaces that Solana is just sexier to retail. I think it's just like the colors and the logos and stuff. It's a better brand, but Tron just couldn't do it, man. And I don't know if it's just because it was an older brand or if the liquidity was immediately sucked up by the older people who were ready to get out from under their bags, or they were more experienced on Tron. But it was certainly a lesson for a lot of people, because I think a lot of people finally figured out how to transfer over just in time to get wiped out. And I hope none of you here listening did, and sad face emojis for anybody here that did get over there and get wiped out. But it was a crazy experience to watch it.
I do think like our thesis with K9 has always been that TVL trumps all. And like we're trying to solve with our product for that TVL problem on Shibarium and to grow the TVL. And like I don't think it's a build it and they will come sort of thing when it comes to retail adoption. Like you can't just put meme coins on your blockchain and expect the TVL to come. I think TVL has to be there in order to actually activate some of these like meme coins that are going off, and then that can have a flywheel effect. Like TVL has come, it's participating in this economy. People are showing their gains, and it can have a flywheel effect there.
Well, that's three. That's a Yahtzee. Flywheel Yahtzee. I was waiting on a third one. You did it. Somebody said flywheel earlier. You had no idea. Sorry, I was marking it in my mind. Shima said it earlier. You said it a second time. Everyone, mark your cards. That's double times points for your visit today. We achieved a 3-word lingo Yahtzee. Thank you, Buzz. Killing me. So you don't think he was able to pull it off? I'm curious. Funk threw a hand up real quick when we started talking about this. Funk, what are your thoughts?
Well, the other thing is like Solana's been built up in, I don't want to get too far on it, but Solana's been being built up over the past like 3 years. Like the name's been being said in a positive light over and over again. What's Solana going to do? What's Solana going to do? So it also, if you're talking about touch points of contact, I don't hear about Tron in public discourse in the past 3 years. It came up maybe once or twice. So obviously they've got that name brand recognition as well as everything else. And they were more like the first to market than Tron. But yeah, looking forward to Shibarium. We obviously have a huge built-in network at Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu's talked about every day. So I think Shibarium could end up more like Sol than Tron and have more success with something like that if it does come to fruition.
It'll be interesting to see how it all works out. I know that the eyes quickly switched to Tron and then quickly switched back to the next thing that grabbed everybody's attention. It went away very, very quick. I think it was probably Trump NFTs was the next thing everybody was talking about, but that's a whole nother spaces before we would ever get into anything like that. We're coming up on the hour, you guys, hanging out on the same day that LTD went through their launch, which we talked about that. Congratulations to our partners over there for getting off the ground. This has been our 32nd episode, and I didn't change the title, but remember, the most important vote in K9 history could be coming your way. Big decisions that Buzz was teasing. I can't wait to see how the chat runs with this information and what you guys want to squeeze out of him. Before we go, I'm going to check back. I didn't get a chance to hear from everybody, so I do have a little bit of extra time. Today, we'll touch in with everybody, and then we'll shut her down. 2%, as usually, I have sliced up 2% of the spaces since we have not heard from you. What's on your mind, bro? How are you?
Bullish. I'm just excited about hearing from other people's experiences of traveling the world. I want to be like y'all when I grow up. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for hanging out for another K9 Finance Weekly DAO update. Shima, we got a healthy serving of you today. Did you have anything left on the plate for us? What are your final thoughts?
I'd say get on the governance forum and start talking, and go play with the Testnet app. That's what I would love to see. Thanks, everybody.
Turtle, he did my job. He said the website. How am I supposed to follow that? He did the forum.K9 Finance thing. What about you, man? What's been on your mind?
Oh, you talking to me? I didn't know I was going to get called on today.
Yeah, I'm calling on you. I'm not proud. I'm you're still there.
No, everything's good, man. It's been a crazy couple weeks. We've been working super hard on the production app, and dev has been crazy. So just keeping the caffeine flowing and operations moving. So everything's been really good. Just a few things to mention. I am working with Buzz and Mr. Lightspeed on an upcoming listing. So just something for everyone to keep in the back of their minds. Another thing to mention is there is the retroactive airdrop. So being active on that governance forum and on snapshot votes or on testnet, et cetera, has down the road benefits. So good motivation to be active and good time to submit feedback. And then the last thing I wanted to just quickly highlight was I think we had a whale perk for the LTD pre-sale. And I know that everyone was really happy today with how LTD did. And I just wanted to say congrats to LTD and to any of our whales that did get in with the whale perk.
It was a big day for them, man. And I appreciate the work that you're doing on the back end of all that stuff. Remember, guys, forum.k9finance.com is where you can find Turtle. Thursdays is always the day we try and drive signups. So if any one of you is here and you have not been to the forum, now is the time to sign up. When I close this spaces, you are going to immediately switch to the other app and you're going to go and log in and you're going to sign up for the first time so you can be part of the K9 forum and governance process, not just voting with your tokens, but starting with your ideas, much like what Funk was mentioning earlier. If you have an idea, if you have something you think you can contribute, if you think you might be able to get paid for one of these things because we have a budget for this type of thing, you go to the forum. This is where you put your ideas. You write a proposal, you bring it to the community. Turtle and all the guys are going to look at it. They're going to vote. All the guys and gals are going to look at it, and they're going to decide whether or not it's going to make it all the way to snapshot. And God help you should you make it to snapshot, because you are at the will of the community at that point, and you will find out whether or not you had a good idea there. So we appreciate the work that you guys do to maintain the backside of this. I actually talked to somebody again just this week and told them that I think that K9 probably has the most functional DAO that I've ever participated in. And I'm not just saying that to be nice. It's got more layers. It's the onion of DAOs. Everything else is just snapshot. I was in a spaces today where my one question to grill these people was, tell me about your DAO and how people are doing their representation. And their answer was a really, really, really long-winded way of saying snapshot, and they just didn't want to lean in and say that. They wanted to make it sound like they had something cool like what we had, and they don't. So I appreciate you guys for building it up. Everybody, please sign up for the forum because they work their ass off over there. Crimson, do you have any energy left to sign off for us today? She's been getting beat up today over at LTD, you guys. The bots have had their way over there, and she's been sword and shield in hand fighting robots all day. Are you around? I see she unmuted. The internet might have its way with her. She seriously had her hands full because you guys know how the fake CAs will come in when there's a launch and stuff like that. So they had her doing double duty, trying to talk on spaces with people like me and also fight robots at the same time. Crimson, I can't hear you if you unmuted, which is no big deal because we're on our way out the door. So I could pretend to be you and do your outro. Hi, I'm Crimson. Come to the LTD spaces tonight with Gate. It's going to be fun. send me a Red Bull because I'm very sleepy. And that'll be Crimson, as close as I can approximate it before we go. We'll see. I'll get a DM and I'll find out how close I am. Adam, can you remind everybody when your show is, who your guests are, and how we can help you circulate it?
Definitely. I actually just dropped it in the comments while we were speaking here. So tomorrow night, 7 p.m. UTC. It is an exclusive with K9 Finance. Thought we'd make it an exclusive first and then do our usual kind of duo spaces. But show up, guys. Would love to have y'all. We've been picking up a little bit of steam since we partnered with CoinMerge as part of their extended network. So come stop by and say hi.
We're going to send people, everybody that shows up over there, if you could change your outfit to a K9 profile picture, that'd be even more fun. You can swap it back afterwards, unless you lose your blue, in whatever case that is. We appreciate you, Adam, for putting on the shows and stuff like that. And be sure to share those links. If everybody can make sure to bump those links in the chat when those come up as we get closer, that would be great. In the order that they're up here, because Funk is in the co-host spot. So Funk is actually going to get the last word today, Buzz, by order here. And Xander's just dropped down for me because Xander's is on his way out. Xander's, I appreciate you coming by. I know his connection was a little bit weird, but we'll get more news from him as we get closer to Barcelona. Buzz, before we go, what are your final thoughts?
I love the things that Turtle added there at the end. Just want to highlight how many perks we're trying our best to work on and deliver to the whale chat. So just congratulations to anybody who was able to use their whale perk to get in on that sale. There's many more coming. We actually did a poll in the whale chat to see if people would like to see more of those opportunities. It does a lot of vetting that goes into it, so we always want to make sure that it's not just any project that we're sharing in there with our community, but more perks coming, and keep a lookout for what we think is the most important vote coming to the forum. So our focus right now is just on September 18th and getting the product launched smoothly. So that's kind of where our North Star is right now.
I thought for a second you were going to put the dramatic inflection on it like I had there. The most important vote coming to K9. I keep leaning in. I think you're figuring it out before we go. Oh, man, did I lose Funk right before we shut her down? Is he gone on your screen too, Buzz?
Yeah, he's gone.
Son of a gun. Well, I'm not going to do a Funk impression because it's fun to tease Crimson, but I think Funk might legitimately be mad if I tried to do it. So I won't speak on behalf of Funk, but everybody go in the chat and let him know that we appreciated him being in here and getting the co-host spot and all the things that he's doing on. Remember what Funk wanted from us, because we did ask him for a call to action, was raid support was a big one this week, whether it's a platform you prefer or a day of the week that you're available, TikTok, X, on all these different platforms and stuff, Facebook. Make sure you're in there and helping out with that. Funk's battle cry was to make sure that you can help out everybody that's already trying to help you out. People are out there working for you, so do a little work for them if you can. So that would be the final word before we go. Now, you guys already got a chance to thumb through all the pins that were up top. So as I'm closing out, take one more chance to make sure you already saw everything that's up there. We talked about basically everything that was up there, but it's just a recap of those things. Check out StockTwits. We've got the Shib Recap coming up on Sundays. Number 5 Validator, which Shima was very proud of our position as Validator. We didn't talk much about Shib Torch, but we can touch on that in the group. We got the video from Frank up there, and then the post from K9 about the upcoming VC, which has some just chef's kiss art. I wonder who made that art. He looks like a really nice guy. I bet he's a really nice family guy, whoever made that art. I'll let you guys figure it out. Anyway, this has been another K9 Finance Weekly DAO update, number 32. Remember, I'm just a dude. They let me do this. I'm no different than the rest of these guys. They just let me wear the suit. I'm CryptoPulse9 on XPulse Digital, to those of you that follow me everywhere else on all my spaces. But I'm just K9 Finance today. If you like these spaces, you need to stay tuned. We do them every week. I don't have 122 or whatever in a row that Bender's got. Woo! That's a totally different thing. But 32 feels like a lot to me. And we'll do 33 next week. If you tune in, same time, same place. We'll put out the link and you can be here with me and Buzz and Funk and Crimson and Adam and Turtle and the crew. And 2% will be there too because he pulls up. And we'll be here for another K9 Finance Weekly DAO Update Spaces. I appreciate every single one of you that listen, whether live in person or in the recording. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.